Good day, hello. Today we're going to be discussing chapter 5, JavaScript and HTML. So JavaScript and HTML can work together to make specific web pages. But if we can just jump into what HTML is, essentially, it's like, basically, as you can see here, HTML forms the skeleton that the text, pictures, and JavaScript and web pages attach to. So you use it to build web pages. But yeah, HTML is basically made up of tags. What tags are basically are like, tags essentially are, it's like a building block that is used to structure the content for your web page, right? It puts structure in your web page. So without the tags, we can't really code in HTML. So an example of a tag would be like this. This is a tag, right? It usually has angle brackets, and this was the opening tag, H1 with the angle brackets. Then within your tag, you have your content. In this case, will be HTML elements. That's your content. Then you have a closing tag, which is H1. That's an example of a tag. You can see different tags here with the paragraph elements being your opening tag, and then here the paragraph element being your closing tag over here. Within the tags, you have your content. You have your content, which is, this is a paragraph. You have a tag here, opening tag, which is your head, and then a closing tag, which is your head here. Within this tag, you have your content over here. So that's basically how tags work. It's to structure your HTML web page. Then moving on to the different elements of HTML, right? HTML contains specific elements that are needed. Here's some examples of different elements. So you have your heading element. Your heading element basically is to define the headings within your HTML code. So it basically gives the web page a heading. That's what the heading is for. Then you have your paragraph element, which is to to give your web page paragraphs as well. So within your paragraph element, or the tag here, you would basically write the paragraph you want to be embedded in your web page. Then we have links as well as an element, right? So here for the links, you use this element A with the angle brackets and href. And within this element, right? So here you have your opening tag and your opening tag. Within these tags, you have href, and you put URL, which is the link you want to put. Whatever link you want to put, you put it between these two opening tags and closing tags. And usually you type click here in order for the link to show, to be presentable in your web page. So we'll look at an example of how that looks. Right. Then you have like images as well. So images basically is to show the image on the web page as well. So you'll have your opening tag, src, then the image that you want to embed within the code so that you can access it in your web page. Then we also have lists, unordered lists as well. This is a type of element as well. It just makes a list of things on your web page. And then there's also ordered lists, which makes a list of things on your web page, but in a more ordered format. So maybe like numbered in a sense. So that's list. And we have the strong element, which basically it emphasizes specific words, so it'll put words in bold text within your web page. So those are the different elements in HTML. HTML also has different attributes as well. So the attributes basically provide additional information about an element, right? So when we saw here href, this is an example of an element. Not an element, sorry. This is an example of an attribute, right? So let's go through the attributes. Okay, just so with the different attributes, you have href, right? That's an attribute specifically for links. So we have your, as we discussed, we have your links element, right? We have a links element where you can put your link in your HTML code. So href is an attribute for the links element. That's one of the attributes. Then you have src attributes. That's specifically for images. And you have your id attribute. What the id attribute does is, wait, first if I can explain the src. So src for images, that's specifically for, yeah, just to provide additional information for the elements when it comes to images specifically. Then you have your id attribute, which provides unique identification to a specific, let's say in your list you have specific words in your list. It provides a unique identification for those specific words. And you have a class attribute. That's for styling multiple elements. So the class attribute can, yeah, just make the element look different in a more stylish way. Then you have a style attribute as well. The style attribute does it is it can change color. It can change the color of your text within your paragraph. That's how it works. That's basically the main attributes for HTML. So if you can show an example of how a HTML code would work and present a web page, we can use this here. With this, there's a link as well, and we use the image elements too, with the different attributes. For the link one, for the link element, we have the href attribute. Without that, you can't really embed your link for your web page. And then we have an unordered list as well, which provides a list on your web page. So how that will look, also a heading as well. Essentially, this is how it would look on the web page. So you have your heading, HTML elements. HTML sorry. This is the heading that you have at the top with the opening tag and closing tag and the content being the heading within these tags. That's why it's presented up here as the main heading, because we use the heading elements, basically these tags. Then we have the paragraph as well, which says this is a paragraph, and that is shown here because of the paragraph element. So the P element basically is presented in the code, and within these opening tags you have this text. This is a paragraph. So if I edit it and say read this paragraph, what that will do is it will change the paragraph, and you can see here it's edited. So as long as it's within the tags of this P element, then you can adjust and change it accordingly. Then we also have the element for links, right, with the attribute href, and within this, as a content, you put the actual link that you want to access, and you can see it here because of that line of code. And when you press, you can access the link, which is Google in this case. Then you have unordered lists. What this does is it presents a list of items within your web page. As you can see here, item 1, item 2. So that's like basically how attributes as well as elements work essentially within HTML to create a web page. Now you can change your HTML with JavaScript code as well, right? Usually how that's done is you use the get element by ID method as well. So if you can come here to this code, so yeah, you can change your HTML with JavaScript. They can work together basically. So fetching elements with get element by ID. So the purpose is to locate an individual element in a document so that you can change it, delete it, or add something to it. So the main goal for a get element method is to basically change the element, right? To manipulate it and to add something new to it as well. And you need to write a JavaScript code within your HTML code in order to change that. So how that will look, for example, is here in this code. So we have our head, we have our body elements, and inside here we have our heading, paragraph, we have an unordered list. So this is our list within our HTML code, right? And what happens is with this, we added an element, so we added an attribute ID. The attribute ID is added here. So what happens is each let me say each item in the list is given a unique identification. So in order for the get element to work, each item in the list has to have a specific identification so that the get element can actually access those specific items in the web page and manipulate and change it within the code. So here's how the get element looks. That's the line of code for the get element. And here you have a function within it. What happens is it accesses the items on the list, right? Well, in this case, it says here are some of the things I like to do, and it lists some of the things that the person likes to do, right? And it lists it on the web page. In order to change this, it needs to access those unique IDs for those items, and it's done by using the get element by ID method. So how that will look basically is it will prompt the user to enter a new, in this case it will prompt the user to enter a new favorite thing, and then a new second favorite thing, and a new third thing. And then after that it updates the list, and it also shows the new list as well in the web page. So how that will look is like this. There you have your heading, the paragraph, and subheading, which is the second heading, and the things we like to do. Here's the list of the things I like to do, right? The list is presented here. That is because of this code. We use the li element, and it has the id attributes as well, and we're able to embed the basically the things we like to do within these tags. So the goal for the get element by ID is to access this and to manipulate and change it. And that is done by writing a JavaScript code. So from here, this is the JavaScript code, right? And it's written within these two tags, which is script. But back to the whole thing about changing this list. What happens is, after this code is written, you get this box which says change your list, and I'm able to access this. Reason being is because the get element by ID is able to change and manipulate the list and update it. Also, the inner HTML plays a role in this as well, in order to change the list. So now I'm able to change the list and say and the list changes, as you can see. That's because of the get element by ID method. And yeah, that's essentially HTML and how JavaScript code can be embedded within the HTML code in order to make changes by using the get element by ID and the inner HTML. And we went through the different elements as well, and the different attributes too. So that's it for today, for the 5th chapter of discussing HTML and JavaScript. So thank you.